We welcome our viewers in India and abroad. Today's prayer is by Paru Dr. Harini Srivatsa. Harini has already appeared in our program and rendered prayer and is known to all our viewers. Over to Harini.
नमस्ते शारदा देवी नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी शारदा देवी नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्याध्यानं च देहि मे.
Thank you, Harini. We always start our program thanking Sri Kanchi Mutt for this initiative and offering our Namaskaram to His Holiness, Sri Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal. With his blessings, we continue with our Kashmir Cultural Heritage Lectures. Today is 11th in our series. Today's session is by archaeologist Sri T.K.V. Rajan. The topic is why safeguarding Kashmir Valley is important to us, archaeological and historical evidence. Starting August 15th, we had 10 sessions so far. If our Kashmir Cultural Awareness series is considered a course, what we have so far covered, about 1,000 years of history, is a foundation course, although we are not going to have any exams. It is important to just browse them if you are joining today, as future programs are fast forwarding to today's reality and ways to bringing back that glory we have been talking about that existed centuries ago in Kashmir. Kashmir Pandits are going to address these topics. Based on our schedules up to 25th December, the article says our program will be over by December 25th, but as mentioned earlier, we are planning programs into 2022 and we'll keep you all posted. Now, few lines on Sri T.K.V. Rajan before we hand over to him. Sri T.K.V. Rajan is a well-known archaeologist and a media personality. His videos are very popular and most of you would have already seen in YouTube. He's a founder director of Indian Science Monitor, an Indo-Asian Foundation of Archaeological Research. The foundation conducts expeditions, seminars, and interactions with archaeologists from various Asian countries to strengthen age-old culture among Asian countries. Rajan has given several lectures on Indian archaeology and organized exhibitions at the British Council, Maximum Bhavan, Lalit Kala Academy, Chennai. Rajan has also presented Our Buried Past, a documentary serial on Madras Doordarshan. He has also done a program, Ancient Tamil Civilization in Sri Lanka, highlighting why India and Sri Lanka should come together beyond political boundaries for conserving the age-old link. Ardent devotee and admirer of Lord Krishna, he has done a program at Ramakrishna Vedanta Society, Irving, Texas, on recent archaeological research on these gods, Lord Krishna. And these gods whose teachings run parallel in many aspects in search of Krishna. The programs were held in Mayapur, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Coimbatore, and Dallas in the US and received appreciations. Rajan has also published books on several topics, and the book on Kashmir called Crown of India is a popular book, and this is the one. Kashmir, the Crown of India. The book says it's a student awareness book. I will talk about this at the end, why it says student awareness. And the book covers most of the topics that we have been talking about here. Now, we are very pleased to hand over to.
Welcome to Kashmir Cultural Heritage 11th Awareness Serial in association with Madhyamaka Dharma Sangam and then Kanji Kamakodi Seva Foundation USA. My humble obeisance to Jagadguru Sri Sankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swami Held for his constant support and also blessings to generate awareness about the Kashmir and its contribution to the India and the world. So we are really blessed to have him with us. I am also appreciating behalf of hundreds and thousands of viewers of this channel, of this program. I am thanking Mr. Shankar and other associates for giving him best hands to make the program very interesting. Now, my idea is, as an archaeologist, I found that Kashmir is a center of attraction for the people of more than 2,000 years. Last 40 years, a lot of research has been done on Kashmir history, literally on inscriptional evidences and also archaeology. And for example, we have Udhampur. We got a wonderful statue of Shiva in excavation. And Pir Panjal, part of Kashmir, reveals the vestiges of Kurukshetra war. Very surprising. Then we have Kupwara, where there is a lot of excavation is taking place. And not forgetting Barzaho, a place where Kashmir and Indus Valley has a lot of links. And also there is a one Vaidya from Adichanallur, from Tirunelveli, seems to have gone to Kashmir to do the performance of the surgery, trepanation. These kind of evidences are all available. In this current episodes, I am going to give you the highlights of the Kashmir as a seat of Indian culture and wisdom. In a subsequent episodes, I am going to show you in depth each excavations and also some sculptures and everything. So let's go to the highlights of the Kashmir, the Crown of India, the contribution of Kashmir to our culture and wisdom. As an archaeologist and TV documentary maker during my exploration in various parts of India, I found that one place which has a perennial impact on our Indian culture constantly for the past 4,000 years is Kashmir Valley. The cultural and scholarly legacy of Kashmir has a unique distinction of possessing an unbroken historical record from ancient time to the present day and still has an impact on the Indian soil. Kashmir Valley, its geostrategic location, richness with biodiversity, evidence of early man, the subsequent visit of Gautama Buddha, the spread of Buddhism from Kashmir to other Asian countries, visit of Shankaracharya and Sri Ramanujacharya to acquire pristine knowledge from Kashmir Valley, the spread of Kashmir Saivism to South India, introduction of Sufi culture, or some other aspect that every Indian should be proud of. One can very well ascertain from the historical records, travelogues, inscriptions, and archaeological excavations that Kashmir Valley has been a center of attraction for the invaders for the past 2,000 years for our scenic splendor, geographical location, and their expertise in fine arts, literature, and wisdom. In fact, between the 6th and 12th centuries, scholars from all parts of India, Central Asia, and China flocked to Kashmir for higher learning, and Kashmir has been considered as the seat of higher education. In other words, Kashmir was the center of attraction in science, fine arts, and literature. For instance, oldest record of numerical 0 was found in Sarada script a script invented by the Kashmir scholars. So this I'm going to give you detail in the subsequent episodes. This particular manuscript was discovered in Pakistan, and now it is presently in Pakistan. It was discovered in Takshashila in 1901. Later, what has happened, it was the manuscript was transferred to Oxford. Recently, they found that based on the carbon-14, the earliest evidence of using zero was mentioned in the Sarada script. That really shows the biggest breakthrough in the history of mathematics from Kashmir Valley. Kashmir Sarada script proved that Indians were the first one to use zero. It's the biggest pride and evidence for us. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Again, an excavation conducted at Barsaho in Kashmir revealed that a highly sophisticated head surgery was performed 4,000 years ago with the help of a medical professional who hailed from South India. That is why thousands of Kashmiri scholars, philosophers, musicians, and specialists in fine arts were invited by the king of other regions of India to accumulate the wisdom of Kashmir. For example, a well-known Kashmiri poet Bilhana settled in Kashmir and contributed significantly to the Sanskrit poetry. And the dramas of Kashmirian Shimendra were staged in Kerala till 16th century. We have inscriptional evidences to prove that during the 12th century, several Kashmiri Pandit visited Tiruvadai Maradur temple. They got land donated. These pieces of evidence invariably show as to how Kashmir has been the greatest contributor for our culture and wisdom. So my idea is to tell you all that we should study the history of Kashmir as a part of school curriculum. And that's one of our aims of our project also. More I work on ancient Kashmir and history and culture, more I am convinced that Kashmir is the crown of India. It has to be safeguarded. But it is unfortunate that only a few percentage of our population have realized the value of Kashmir Valley in the present scenario. The reason for this lacuna may be due to the fact that our educational system syllabus has not included the history of Kashmir, included the history of Kashmir Valley. Whereas we are told that in Pakistan, history of Kashmir has already been included in the schools for the past 10 years. That is why in 2013, I submitted a memorandum to the Minister of Primary School Education, Karnataka government, to include the history of Kashmir in the curriculum. Based on the feedback of my TV serial and archaeological exhibition I had on ancient Kashmir, I realized that the majority of the Indians are keen to know more about the invaluable contribution of Kashmir to our nation. Once they realize that Kashmir has been the seat of our knowledge and culture, their enthusiasm is positive. We are not sure when we would reap the political solution for Kashmir issue, but generating awareness to safeguard Kashmir would consciously unite our people to safeguard my project, Kashmir, the Crown of India. Now I'm going to tell you some of the salient features of Kashmir. Let's take the name. For example, please believe me, the name Kashmira has been in the record for the more than 4,000 years. It's the biggest record ever we had of any name of any countries, any capital. Important evidence is the name Kashmir, which has been recorded in the annals of Indian history for the past 2,000 years, with retaining the same name. The great scholar of Kashmir history, M.A. Stein, who translated the Raja Tarangani in his monumental book, Ancient Geography of Kashmir, writes, this name Kashmira in its original Sanskrit form has been used as the sole designation of the countries throughout its known history. It has a uniformity been applied both by the inhabitants and by the foreigners. So what I'm trying to say now, that Kashmir name has become one of the most important names in the history of the world, because the Kashmira, the name has been retained continuously for the more than 2,000 years. Now we go to the salient features of the most important events and other things from Kashmir history. I'm going to tell you. So these are some of the salient aspects of Kashmir history and culture. The evolution of mankind seems to have started in Kashmir Valley. The skeletal remains of the first man in Asia, known as the Shivapithecus punjabicus, were discovered from Shivalik ranges of the Kashmir Valley. Thus, it seems to be Kashmir is the cradle of the evolution of the human beings. The rich biodiversity of Kashmir Valley safeguards North Indian climatic system since the ages, and great Himalayan glaciers flowing through Kashmir are the primary source for perennial water supply to North Indian states. So we have to safeguard these glaciers. If you want to safeguard the glaciers, you have to safeguard Kashmir. The rich biodiversity of Kashmir attracted several British botanists, including Sir Joseph Dalton Hooker. Based on his research in Kashmir Valley, he offered botanical inputs. Much of it's found in the way into the immortal work of Charles Darwin, known as The Origin of Species. So this is something very interesting. We have a goddess Sarada Devi, was the presiding deity of Kashmir Valley, who represented the language and speech. And through her disciples, the Vedic knowledge had spread all over India. The oldest temple of Sarada Peedam is in Kashmir Valley, but presently it is in the hands of Pakistan. I told you already that, based on the manuscript written in Sarada, we are able to identify the first time zero was mentioned and utilized by the Indians. Now, this shows the importance of translating the ancient manuscript in India. So I'm going to narrate you a very important aspect. I request all of you to please listen to us and find out how we can sort out this problem. According to the National Mission for the Manuscript, there are approximately 1 crore manuscripts in India, out of which only 10% have been published. Hundreds of manuscripts were written in Sarada script and other scripts have Mahabharata and Ramayana like the epics. Apart from that, they also deal with the yoga, Ayurveda, astronomy and astrology and scientific material. However, scholars complain that the lack of published manuscript, especially ancient Indian sciences, have slackened India's potential dominance in the international scientific industry. I tell you how. Scholars believe that a major reason behind this has been the lack of political goodwill in investing the transliteration of the ancient manuscript. According to N. Seeker, the expert in manuscript, says, it is not only culturally but financially beneficial too to be able to decipher and interpret the secular sciences manuscript, for example, Sarada script. Okay, these Indian scientists and companies realized during 2013, an American conglomerate claimed patent over a turmeric use as a medical remedy as their invention. Though the use of turmeric for the treatment of inflammation, psoriasis, and other etc. was a popular household staple for Indians, we were able to win the legal battle over turmeric patent because we had our ancient text to provide evidence of India's discovery of turmeric medical properties. There have been a similar conflicts over neem patent as well. As imagine if we have a large published material we can use to get patent for products that have been gained popularity in international market over the last few decades. Our companies can establish their dominance in the industry as well as research. The value of ancient Indian manuscript evident with the Japan's rapid growth of Ayurvedic research, as the Asian neighbor has been known to invest in developing advanced Ayurvedic technology. So what I am trying to say that our children, our students should start studying the manuscriptology, started translating the manuscript. They are lying in the libraries and the museum, unused, unsung. These manuscripts don't think they contain all the religious stuff like Mahabharata and Ramayana. Many of them contain scientific material, as we have seen now, how the zero mathematics were actually written in Sarada script. So I am requesting the students and children to start learning the manuscript, especially Sarada script. When I actually organized an exhibition in Chennai school, Kashmir, the Crown of India, many schools and many students and teachers came and saw the importance of Sarada script. They asked me how they can read the script. I told them to contact Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. They have a separate section to help those people who want to read Sarada script. Please, Sarada script is not a religious script. It's a script contains a lot of scientific material. This script is invented by the Kashmir Pandits some 2000 years ago. This is the biggest legacy of Kashmir. 8 years ago, when I met our respected Shankaracharya ji, He told me that, the time we should spend a lot of time in translating and learning this Sarada script, which he is now encouraging a lot. My frequent visit to Kashmir Valley brought home a new concept known as a Sarada civilization. It is a well-known fact that Kashmir is also known as Sarada Desh, as I told you earlier. Till 19th century, the name Sarada Desh was used in the village Panchayat office in Kashmir Valley. The strong Kashmir tradition is so strong in locating headquarter of Sarada Peeth is in Kashmir Valley. Goddess Saradamba, the goddess of learning, was seated in Sarada Peeth to transmit eternal knowledge to the mankind. Based on my research, I produced a TV serial for Shankara TV entitled In Search of Sarada Civilization. The content of these episodes, which I want to narrate now in the form, Kashmir is also known as a Sarada Desh, the first headquarter of goddess of languages and speech. Sarada Peeth is a fountainhead of Sanatana Dharma. All Vedas, Upanishad, major Puranas, and important Sanskrit works emanated from here. Even today, the most ancient Sanskrit Sastra, known as Sarada, is being recited every day by the devotees. It begins with the name Sarada, Namaste Sarada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini. Sarada Peeth attracted great divine soul. Sri Shankaracharya received the right sit on the Sarvajnana Pita, throne of wisdom. He consecrated several Shiva temples in Kashmir Valley. He mastered Sri Chakra Upachana and installed the first Sri Chakra temple in Kashmir. Tradition is very strong that Sri Ramanujacharya visited Sarada Peeth to complete Sri Bhashya. Saint Trimular, who hailed from Kashmir, was a devotee of Saradamba and he was instrumental in spreading Saivism in South India. Visiting Sarada Peeth as we visit to God Balaji in Tirupati was a standard practice and ritual among the various kings and chieftains for the welfare of the regions. 2000 years ago, a popular university existed in the complex of Sarada Peeth. Thousands of pilgrims and scholars from various parts of India and China, Laos, Cambodia, and Pali visited Sarada Peeth and studied there to attain universal knowledge. To transmit universal knowledge, a script was introduced by Sarada Peeth known as a Sarada. The earliest manuscript of Ramayana and Mahabharata epics and Dharma Shastra were written in Sarada. Several mathematics, astronomical, and medical treatises were written in Sarada. The researchers who studied Sarada script claim it is a miracle script compatible to high standard computer language. Even today, the secret code of Sarada script is yet to be deciphered, except the Kalpataru code of Sarada. Jawaharlal Nehru University has a specialized department to decode Sarada script to reveal the glorious universal knowledge our ancestors possessed. Such a great civilization suffered a setback under the cruel hand of invaders. So naturally, after the 12th century, there is a lot of changes in political. So our idea is to do a lot of research and bring back the glory of Kashmir through archaeology, history, and inscription studies, and also coin studies. We will meet again in another episode with a lot of new information, new archaeological discoveries, and also the coins and everything. Till then, goodbye.